Here. Okay, all right.
Is you married?
Not at the moment, but we are live. We getting it live. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Tuesday evening. Another edition of KFTV Live presented by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com and use our code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping. The Knicks continue on this road trip, man. They will take a trip over to the D down in Dallas, Jalen Brunson's old stomping grounds. And whenever the Knicks take on the Mavericks, you know we got to bring our guy to the show, man. We got to tap in with our friend, the former Knick and former Mav. We'll put some respect on his name, man. But to us, he's our guy, man. Derek Harper in the building. Hart, welcome back to the show, man. How you feeling,
man? Happy to be back. How you doing, Case? I see you everywhere.
I'm doing good, man. It's a great time to be a Knick fan, great time to be a Knick content creator. And as you said, every time you come here, you know, we've continued to grow. So I appreciate you contributing to that, man. You know, I always appreciate our shows, man.
Anytime, you know that, Case.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, you know, the Knicks are coming off of a big win over the Denver Nuggets, a team who the Mavericks also beat. They put 145 points up on the Nuggets last night. OG Anunoby career high 40 points. He had 45 assists by this Knicks team. I mean, what's impressed you the most about these guys, man?
Yeah, to be honest, you know as well as I do, they got off to a slow start for their standards. I thought they out of the box. But a lot of things, just how well Jalen continues to be as a point guard. He's made, Cat a much more aggressive, a more efficient player on the offensive end. You just talked about OG, and he's playing, had 40 last night, to your point. I think all of it is spearheaded, Case, if you would, by what Jalen does out on the floor. I mean, people enjoy playing with that guy, and they're pretty darn talented offensively. They have a lot of guys that can put the ball in the hole. And the other thing that stands out completely is the 45 assists that you're talking about. They're playing so unselfish until it's just a joy to watch. It's absolutely a lot of fun to watch them play right now because they move the basketball and just share. They share all of what's going on with them as a team.
And Jalen's progression is definitely something that we always open our shows talking about, obviously, with him coming from the Mavs organization and you knowing him so well. The 17 assists, a career high for him. Yep. And, I think it's interesting because his first two seasons here with the team, obviously the first one was a surprise, and last year he really emerged on the scene as a scorer. But now the talent has improved, the expectations have increased, and now it seems like he's also a guy who's trying to figure things out and figure out, his role as scorer, facilitator, getting guys involved. What's your take from that point guard lens?
I'll say this. In the NBA today's NBA, everybody is trying to score. That's all point guards. I mean, if you look at them across the board, they're getting numbers. They really are putting up some sick numbers. Jalen, in his case, will do anything he has to do to win. I think if you watch him play, that's his priority. It's simply to win the game. If he needs to get 25, he gets 25. If he needs to go and get 40, he'll hit you in the head for 40. So he's a coach on the floor. He just understands what's necessary for the team, and he goes out there and orchestrates it and get it done. He's coming close to one of the top 2 or 3 point guards in the league as far as I'm concerned. I'm not waiting for him to fall off of where he's been the last couple of years, but I'm thinking to myself, like, this thing is going to have to bottom out at some point. But he continues to amaze me. He's sensational. as an all-around point guard, one of the best in the league right now.
Keeps getting better, man. Absolutely keeps getting better, Harp. And, you know, we have to – one thing I like, especially when we look at this offense and 145 points, the style that they're playing now, with this 5-out system, it just seems like each player, their strengths is lifting up the rest of the 5. You know, starting with Towns and then Brunson and so on. I mean, you saw Towns a lot in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
Talk about that with Towns at the 5.
Not nearly as good. Last year in the playoffs, we played against these guys. I think it was the semifinals, and Cat was not the guy that he is right now. He just couldn't find his rhythm there. I just think they were. You said 5 out.
Hang on, Harp. So we lost you. We lost your camera there. Hang on 1 second. We lost your camera.
Okay. Yep. Somebody's trying to call. I'm gonna ignore.
Okay. No problem.
Yeah.
All right. So to everybody in the chat, once again, we're just waiting on Harp to jump back in. Just lost Harp's camera there. 1 second. CP the franchise in the building. Knicks taking on the Mavericks tomorrow night, Wednesday night. All right, Harp. We're back up.
Okay, sounds good. And can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so I was just saying, you know, Towns' impact, especially with this 5-out system and his spacing, coming from, you saw him in those Western Conference Finals there. I mean, just talk about the impact that you see in terms of being that 5 and the spacing that he provides with the team. Okay,
so you say 5 out. When you run the 5-out offense, everybody has to do what? Put it on the deck, shoot it, and pass it. That's what it's all about. Hardest thing to guard in the NBA is 5 out because you run a lot of dribble pick and roll stuff. You run a lot of that tight action where you dribble handoff to guys all the time, and it's just difficult to guard it. A lot of gaps. You put a lot of gaps in defenses by running the 5 out. And then you have a guy like, I know we're talking Cat, but then you have a guy like Jalen, who is astute enough, if you would, to make it happen. I mean, he knows how to get everybody involved. I never thought I would see OG get 40 points in a game. He's just not built that way. He's not a guy that actually looks for his offense. But in that system, he's looking for it now. He's getting just as many opportunities as anybody. You watch them play, and it's fun basketball. Don Nelson used to run the 5-out offense, and everybody flourished in it. Chris Mullins did. Tim Hardaway did. Sprewell did. Chris Webber did. It's just difficult to guard it. And I just think Cat, I mean, he's first team, all pro right now, the way he has played. I never saw him as a guy that would be as aggressive as he has been the first quarter of the season. I mean, he's been outstanding, and it looks like he's enjoying himself as a player now, being in New York. You know, you either flourish in New York or you get up under the mat and never come back out.
That's right. That's right.
And he's going for it, man. He is putting it on people. I like the Knicks. I really do. I know Boston. I know Cleveland has had a fantastic start to the season, but I like the Knicks. I like their toughness. I like their togetherness. Thibodeau, I think, has really not gotten out of the way, but he's kind of backed up, and he's going with the offense. They're not as good as they were defensively yet, but that's going to come. I'm not worried about a Tom Thibodeau coach not having guys ready to defend, but all those guys have been really, really special so far.
Yeah, and OG, especially with the contract and the backdrop of $200 million, especially here in New York, fans were, when he got the deal, is it too much? Can he stay healthy? But so far, so good on the health part. But his game is expanded, and he's talked a lot about what he does pregame and working on his above the break threes, working on his pull up jumpers. It's paying dividends on the court, Harp. I mean, his game is really expanded.
You said the key word. He's working on it. Anytime you put the work in for a long period of time, you start to trust it, right? Every time I hear Brunson talk, he says he trusts his work, and that's rubbed off on all of those guys. I see where my guy Bridges changed his shot a little bit. It has come around. He's starting to make some shots. And the Knicks are just, once you taste it, man, you kind of know what it takes to do it. And it becomes a habit for you. And I just see I see the Knicks being one of those teams that they've bought in to wanting to be champions, man. For crying out loud, Jalen started it all by taking less money to sign other guys. I mean, there's an unselfishness that will almost automatically, Case, bring you together as a team. And that's where I see the Knicks right now.
Once again, we are talking to the legend, Derek Harper. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. Throw a number 11 in the chat to salute our guy Harp. And, hey, to salute to Captain Jalen Brunson as well, man. Two number 11s, two of the best to do it.
I tell you what.
In a Knick uniform.
Jalen Brunson owns New York right now. He's the king of New York.
That's the captain, man. That is absolutely the captain. Another guy benefiting greatly out of this system, and just been a consummate Knick, especially when I think about your era and a lot of the older generation guys from your time really look at him as a guy who they could have played with. I spoke to LJ recently about him, and that's Josh Hart. Just because of the way that he's just able to fill the stat sheet and do everything. And the most common description of Josh Hart, especially to analysts, is like a lot of things that he does, you can't quantify.
Right. He's versatile, number one. Can play wherever a Swiss Army knife, if you would. He's another guy, one of those Villanova guys that will do whatever it takes to win. And by the way, I thought he could not shoot, Case.
Yeah.
That's what the scouting report used to say about Hart, that he was inconsistent last year in the finals or in the playoffs. He was one of the best shooters on the floor.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Consistently, night in and night out. I watched the Knicks like a hawk during the playoffs because I was rooting for him so hard. He can guard, 4 positions? I don't want to see him on a 5, a legit 5 guy, but he can guard 1 through 4. He can defend. He can rebound. He led the playoffs in rebounds last year on that team, or he was really close. I really believe, and I hadn't talked to anybody about this. The reason there is no Randall in New York, in my opinion, is because of the way Josh Hart played last year. And when you have success without a guy, it's easy to move on from it. And you get a guy like Cat back. They almost had to make that trade. But I think the way Josh kind of exploded onto the scene is one of the things that gave them confidence in making that move. And it's panned out. I mean, it's been sensational with Cat in the mix in New York.
Yeah, no question about it. And still some growing pains, obviously, with this team, and the defense has yet to kind of catch up to Thibodeau's standards. From your playing days, what was it that, what was needed when you're coming in from training camp and starting a season off to lock in defensively and really work as one? Number one, Case, you have to have that kind of personnel. And I don't want to make an excuse for the Knicks or any other team in the league. Robinson, his value is being shown right now. He's the biggest missing piece right now for the Knicks. Hopefully he gets back soon. I'm sure that's what Knicks fans are pulling for. And then you lost the other kid, Hartenstein, to Oklahoma City. So that's what's taking time. You know what I mean? Cat's not a legit shot blocker, rim protector. That's just not him. He spends all of his time on offense. So he's back there, and he certainly makes a difference night in and night out, but he's not that kind of a guy. You get Robinson back, and I wouldn't be surprised if they make some moves to get a big, but you get him back, man, that rebounds, polices the paint, does all the dirty work for you as a team. They're going to be superb. And it just takes time, man. Everybody, we're struggling. Yeah.
We closed the season out defensively. Dallas, we closed the season out as one of the best defensive teams in the league. Right now, anybody can score on the Mavs. They just hadn't been able to pull things together. And that's just want. That's desire. That's a mindset that you have to have and build. But you need time for all of that to come together. And I just think with time and with the defensive mindset of Thibodeau, I think they're going to be okay, decent moving forward.
And as we talk about the Mavericks, Knicks and Mavericks will tip off on Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. You can catch Harp covering this game for Dallas Mavericks.
This is exclusive. We don't have.
Oh, this is ESPN.
Yeah,
this is ESPN.
Exclusive night
for
ESPN. So I'll be in the stands watching, though. I bet you that.
All right, you'll be in the building, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I wouldn't miss it.
That's what's up, man. And thinking about the Mavericks, almost in a similar vein to the Knicks, it's kind of a brand new team, right? I mean, they come off the NBA Finals. Obviously, you still have Luka and Kyrie, but they went out there to get some more firepower and getting Klay Thompson, losing a nice defensive wing in Derek Jones, but getting a good two-way wing now in Najee Marshall, who's starting to emerge. You have Quentin Grimes. I mean, what's your thought overall on the Mavs roster right now?
Oh, I love it. And they got off to a slow start, but mark this down. You can write it wherever you want to write it, Case. The Mavs are coming out of the West. And that's not just throwing something on the wall, seeing if it sticks. I believe the reason is that Kyrie is more locked in than I've ever seen him as a player. He's locked in, and you know how good Kai is.
Yeah.
People don't realize, I didn't realize that the guy was as good as he is until I've seen him for the last year and a half, up close and personal, night in and night out. This dude is surreal as a basketball player. He is a very, he's such a leader, a quiet leader. He's not running around, jumping around, making a lot of wasted noise. But you can see that these guys gravitate to him. I think he's helped Luka from that standpoint. Because I think, when you look at numbers, right? Luka averaged 29, 30 points last couple of years. I don't think he needs to anymore with all that the Mavericks have on their roster right now. They have a lot of guys. They just had the last 4 games, they've had maybe 4 guys to score 20 or more points in this season. So they can score in so many different ways, man. They're a really good team. And they're going to do nothing but get better. I think when it's all said and done, you'll be looking at the Mavericks playing somebody in the Western Conference Finals. And I think Dallas gets back to the finals. I really do. They're that deep. They're that good. Klay has been, I think if you asked him, he would say just average. He's been up. He's been down a little bit. But, you don't forget how to shoot, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and when he gets things going, I think the Mavericks are really going to be good. They don't run a lot of plays for Klay. I think Jay Kidd believes more in getting him in the rhythm of the game, just getting your shots between Luka getting in the paint and Kyrie getting in there. There are a lot of open shots. Now it's just a matter of focusing in and making those shots.
How about Najee Marshall? Because he was a guy.
Incredible.
You saw him a lot with the Pelicans and now with the Mavericks.
I didn't watch him. I saw him, Casey, but I'm not going to lie. I didn't watch him. I didn't watch him until he got here. And you see this guy out on the floor, man, this dude can play.
He can hoop.
Really do a lot of different things. They say he can't shoot, but I think he's made 11 in 3 games.
Yeah. 3 straight with 20 plus.
So,
3 straight with 20 plus.
I love his game. I really do. Najee is, he's old school. He's one of those throwback guys you don't run plays for. You just throw him out on the floor, and you realize that you can't take him off of the floor because he's that valuable with all the different intangibles he plays with. He can guard. He's a lot like Hart. In my opinion, he does some of the same things that he does. Guard big guys, drive and kick with the best of them. He scores in the open court. Just really solid and underrated.
Yeah, and how about our guy Grimes, man, former Knick? I'm hoping this is his final landing spot, man, that he finally finds some footing here.
I like Grimes. He plays with a toughness, can really shoot the ball. You're not going to always get shots, but he can really shoot the basketball. He's tough. He'll get in there and dunk on you. He's a headache defensively. Guys don't like playing against him. And that's what Dallas has. They have a lot of guys that you just don't enjoy playing against the guys. You know, they're naggers. They're always in your jersey. They're always pushing you. They're always holding you. And when you play with that kind of an edge, man, people don't look forward to coming in that gym playing against you.
After the loss to the Utah Jazz, there was a locker room meeting very early from Jason Kidd and the coaching staff because they were pretty much embarrassed in the way that they let John Collins just get that dunk and slip away and take that game. After that, they rip off 4 straight.
Yeah.
What did you make of that in terms of the timing very early in the season from Jason Kidd and really just sending a message to his locker room, a team that wants to get back to the finals?
It was surprising. I'm not going to lie. I mean, like you said, it's 10 games, I think it was at that point. And that's early to have a team meeting, but you have to know the heartbeat of your team and when to jump on them, when to put them in check, and when to back off. It turned them around. So hindsight is 2020. After the fact, it was a great decision to go with that meeting. And you can't hide in meetings like that, right? Because while you're meeting, you're also watching film. And the film really never lies. I mean, if you're loafing or if you're not guarding, not playing with the proper intensity, it's going to come right out. And not only is the coaching staff going to see it, but your teammates, the other guys. And I think for a man, all of them would have admitted that they were not putting out the kind of effort they needed to win games. And it turned around after that. So good for them.
Who was the guy in the Knicks locker room that hated watching film? What was it, Oak? Who was this guy?
No, Oak didn't think, hey, you know who it was. Listen, Oak didn't have time for film, man. Yeah. Oak was ready to go when it was over. He was ready to go. Oak is not a film guy, no kind of way. Or speech guy.
Yeah.
You know how coaches get up and want to give that long, drawn-out speech? Oak used to make noise with paper and, rattle stuff over in his locker. It was so funny, man, for somebody to be interrupting that kind of a speech. But he did it. Oak did it.
Both these teams coming into this matchup, you have the Mavs at 10-8. But it's just very interesting. A lot of teams are still trying to find their footing. The Mavs, the Knicks, you have the Bucks who are trying to figure things out. I mean, Philadelphia is just, they've hit the bottom super fast.
Not surprising to me, though.
You weren't surprised by that. You weren't surprised by that.
No, I wasn't. I watched Embiid, who is the number one guy there. I watched him this summer overseas. Yeah. Doing the Olympic stuff, and he just seemed to be disconnected, if you would, from basketball in general. And I think sometimes we think greatness will overshadow just a determination, a work that it takes to get ready for an NBA season. And it backfired on him. I don't think he's ready to play right now.
Yeah, missing another game tonight.
You see what I'm saying, Case? And I don't know. I'm not going to question whether or not a person is hurt. Kawhi, for example, I don't know that guy's body. I don't know if he's hurt or not hurt, but I do know this. The NBA, the NFL, all of these professional sports, they're not light switches. You can't turn them on and turn them off. You prepare to be successful in sports. And if you don't prepare, you won't be successful. I don't care who you are. You're not bigger than the work that it takes to be successful as a professional athlete.
Can't cheat the system. Can't cheat the game, man.
You cannot. Yeah. It doesn't work that way.
Incredible. It's just very, very interesting dynamic right now in the league with some teams on top and some teams trying to figure it out. Oh, we lost Harp. Again. He might have had a call. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. CP the franchise here. Derek Harper. On the other side, we are talking Knicks versus Mavs. Throw number 11 in the chat, man. We got our guy Harp in the building. Always good to chop it up with him. Salute to our franchise channel members in the building. Talento, I see you in here. Christopher Blake. Brightest future in the chat. Architect wants his facts. Yeah, the Embiid thing is, if you're a Philly fan or front office, got to be embarrassed, man. They're absolutely
especially the front office, because they genuinely, Daryl Morey, they genuinely thought they put something together. And, I'm not on social media all the time looking for bad news about guys, but I read something where Paul George is contemplating retiring, is what I read. And like I said a few seconds ago, you can't tell a guy if he's hurt or if he's not hurt, but I just don't like the way it started out. I mean, I felt like Philly got damaged goods anyway, because if you look at the history of Paul George, he's hurt a lot. He misses a lot of games. There are a lot of guys in this league, Anthony Davis, and I'm not trying to jinx him because he's played most of the games this year, but there are certain guys you can count on them missing 25 to 30 games every single year. And Paul George falls in that category, and just, he just hadn't been consistently available. And, that's the best ability is availability.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know where Philly goes from here. They have young guys now that are trying to be the alpha male leaders now. And as well as I do, man, that doesn't always ends well either.
True indeed, man. Another question I want to ask you, Harp. Last night, there's been, for the last couple of weeks, there's been talk about how NBA ratings are down and what's the cause. And, Shaq and some of the bigger analysts are saying that's the style of play. And I put something out there on Twitter asking the fans their opinion. And the number one response was the style of play. Secondly, fans felt like, the games aren't accessible. It's chopped up all over the place. You don't know where to find your games.
The new streaming stuff that's going on. And
then third was the load management stuff. So this was an interesting clip from BJ Armstrong, someone you know well. I want to play this soundbite from BJ, and then I want to get your reaction to it. This is on the style of play. Here's BJ Armstrong from the Hoop Genius podcast. Here he is.
NBA personnel, executives, head coaches, analytic people tell me to my face, Mo, a 2-point shot now is a bad shot. We only want 3 shots. We want the corner threes, layups, or we want to get to the free throw line. I don't understand. All I know is the best players all shoot mid-range shots. So when I go watch the game, there's no more creativity. There's no more imagination. We have basically robots running up and down the court. You run to the three-point line, I run to the three-point line. I'm beginning to question the teachers of the game. I'm questioning everybody now. I'm not going to be mad at the players. This is what's being taught here. We've stripped the players of any type of imagination. It's more fun for me to go watch a pickup game than to watch the NBA right now. No one plays the same exact way in the pickup game. But when you watch an NBA game, everyone plays the same exact way.
Oh, what's your thoughts, man?
Fire. I mean, real fire, real smoke, real truth. BJ knows the game. He won, 4, 5, 6 championships. He knows what it takes. He's an agent now. He's in the mix. He knows what these players think now about playing the game night in and night out. I couldn't agree more with what he said. And here you go. The Warriors won 4, if I'm not mistaken, Casey. They won 4 with that style that BJ is talking about, right? So I remember talking to Eddie Tapscott because he was running Washington, the Wizards at the time. And Eddie saying that's who they were going to model themselves after. They had Bill, they had John Wall, those same guys that are similar, right? They're a little bit like the Warriors. They were built that way to a certain extent. Everybody can't do that. Everybody can't play that style and find success. They just can't. You're talking about the all-time best shooters in Clay and Steph. And everybody thought that they could pick, okay, we're going to do this. They could pick that model and just shoot threes. How in the heck are you going to tell me you're shooting 32%, right, from the three-point line, and that's better than 2 points? Attacking the rim, you stand a chance of getting to the free throw line. I mean, it is definitely a very predictable game. Is it going to change anytime soon? I highly doubt it. I think that's what they think they have something. And real basketball people, they know that. Case you know that. You know it doesn't work that way consistently for all 30 teams in the NBA. It just doesn't. So I always thought playing to your strength, playing to your personnel gave you the best chance to be successful as a basketball team. Agreed or not, that's just what makes sense to me. But now you have the youngsters. They want to go to AAU games. You ever go to AAU games? They're doing the same thing, man. They're pulling from three. They're shooting the deep three. It's very low percentage. And you're going to have success one day, and then for 5 games, you don't have success. So BJ, he summed it up. He really did. But the league they don't want to change. It takes change is hard for a lot of GMs and coaches, and they want to keep it the same. But that's why it's so wide open, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to win the championship? Boston led the league in threes last year, so they won a championship doing it as well. But their personnel is different.
Yeah.
From the rest of the teams that are built. Keep your eye on Cleveland. Don't think that they're a joke either. You don't win 17 games out of 18 and not be a decent team.
Yeah, I like how Cleveland looks, man. They've been very impressive. Their guard play, now outside of Mitchell and Garland, I mean, you have Ty Jerome is balling out there. You have Craig Port. I mean, they've got a lot of guys that can put pressure on you, man, and they've been relentless. And Evan Mobley's ascension has been really good as well, man.
Yes. And they play that big man ball. You know what I mean? They dump it into those guys. They penetrate. They leave it for those guys. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just old school, man. And I don't mind threes. I shot a lot of threes when I played in New York under Don Nelson. But I just don't see that being the real formula for success. You look at Boston winning last year, what people always overlook, and even the Warriors when they were winning their championship, what people overlook, Case, is that those teams were good from the three-point line, but they were number one, number two. Do your research. They were number one defensively.
Right. That's what I say about Boston, man. Yeah.
Out of the 4 that they won, 3 of those years, they were the top defensive team in the league.
Right.
And the same thing with the Celtics last year. They didn't give up anything last year as far as easy buckets and things of that nature. So shoot your threes, but you better be able to defend and rebound if you want to have a legit chance at winning it all.
Right, and that's why and tying it back to the Knicks, that's why they have to get their defense back at least average. You can't be in the bottom quadrant of the league and still be chucking up threes. That's why Boston is so impactful, is because they get the extra possessions, and then they're limiting your possessions as well. So it's impactful, man.
Their defensive identity, though, I think it's going to come around. I really do. And it's early, it's not even a quarter of the season yet. But I just think with Tibbs under the table, man, he's gonna make that clear, loud and clear. And they have good personnel to defend too. They're not. I mean, Cat's not a defender, but the rest of those guys, they can get down and play deep.
How do you see the Mavs potentially exploiting these guys tomorrow? I mean, I look at the Kyrie matchup. Who's going to be guarding him? Because Mikal Bridges has not been able to cover a lot of these guys. A lot of these opposing point guards have been really hurting the Knicks.
You got to put detour signs on the highway so Kyle doesn't make it to the arena wherever he goes. You're not going to stop Kyle. And I don't think that's the key. With no Luka, they're probably going to double him and force somebody else to win. That's how teams have been. Miami won the other night in a close game doing exactly that. They had 2.5 guys on Kyrie. And that's how teams are going to play him until Luka gets back. They're going to trust or make those other guys step up. And by God, they have. They have stepped up in a big-time way, and I think will continue to do so.
How did you look at the Mavs? Well, when he was with the Timberwolves, you had the 2 big look with Gobert, but I'm thinking, the Lively Towns matchup, how the Mavs might be looking to send attention to Karl-Anthony Towns' way.
Oh, you got to slow him down. You slow him down, and you can beat the Knicks, in my opinion. I know Jalen is the head of the snake, but I think the way Towns has played this year, he is the guy that you have to worry about because he's a big. How many bigs? You talked about Lively and Gafford and those guys. What's going to make Towns successful is his ability to stretch the floor. Bigs, I don't care how good they are defensively, they don't want to go out there at that three-point line where Cat is. And that's why he's having so much success because other bigs, they don't like to venture out that far from the bucket. They can't block shots. They can't rebound properly when they are out there. So that'll be a tough challenge for us. But then on the other end, he's going to have to deal with the physicality of Lively and of Gafford. Gafford is having a fantastic season. Field goal percentage #1 in the league this year. And our bigs, man, are underrated. So it'll be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, they'll certainly have the depth to throw there. There was some illness spreading around the team, man. Are guys going to be back or what's going on? No, Grimes and a couple of those guys missed the Hawks game.
Yeah, I don't think you missed this game. Not with a tummy ache. I mean, you got to be out there, don't you? I mean, this is a big-time game.
Big game.
Jalen hasn't played yet in front of these Mavs fans, so I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for it tomorrow night.
There it is, man. And as you said, you will be in the building.
Yes.
And as you said, you may be at MSG soon.
Yeah, there's something going on. I hope I'm not spilling tea.
Yeah.
There is certainly a celebration for the alumni, 6th and the 7th. And I'm doing all that I can, Case, to be there. I don't know if you're going to be able to make it or not, but I really look forward to getting back there and know that if I'm not there, Case, I couldn't be there, plain and simple.
There you go, man. Well, as I said, we need you in the Legends Lounge. The Legends Lounge has been popping. We know you're busy, man. You got other things you got to do, but the Legends Lounge definitely needs a Derek Harper appearance sooner than later, man. Well, Hart, definitely appreciate all the time. Enjoy your Thanksgiving with the family.
I will. You too, Case.
Any plans? You going to be in the area or
I'm going to be in Dallas.
Okay.
I'm going to be right here with my family, with my kiddos, my sisters.
Yeah.
I got a brother here and 3 sisters, so we're going to enjoy it.
There you go.
Nothing like family time.
Absolutely, man. It is absolutely the best. Thanks again, Harp. Enjoyed it, and good luck tomorrow, man.
I appreciate it, Casey.
Enjoy
it.
Man. Yes, sir.
Man.
That was our guy, Derek Harper. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. Throw a number 11 in the chat for our guy, Derek Harper, man. And as he said, he may be pulling up to MSG. We'll see, man. We may have let a little cat out of the bag, but we'll see what's up, man. Anyway, support our sponsors, man. Go to manscaped.com. Use our code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping. Guys, make sure you check out Manscaped's Black Friday deals, which is starting, I believe, now. So head over to manscaped.com. Again, use our code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping. As we mentioned, the Knicks versus Mavs games, a lot of you guys, Knicks Nation, the Road Warriors have been taking over these road stadiums. And hey, when you're going out there to get your tickets, whether it's MSG or the road, use our code KFTV10 for 10% off your tickets, up to $20 off. That is with SeatGeek, the #1 rated ticketing app and the official ticketing app of KnicksFanTV, man. Use that code KFTV10. All right. Salute, man. Who else we got in the chat? Let me finish saluting everybody. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. All my franchise channel members, salute to you guys. Muhammad Mustafa. Salute to a couple of NY legends, CP and D Harp. Salute, man. That's all I got, man. That's my point guard. You know what I mean? And he's always there for us, man. And as we talked about, as this channel has leveled up, Harper's been there at each stage, each level, man. So we definitely appreciate his time and support. And once a Knick, always a Knick. Hopefully we see him at the Garden fairly soon. Anyway, man, I'm going to get out of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow. A play-by-play show with CK2K. Post-game live, #1 show for the fans by the fans. You already know, as we coast through this Thanksgiving week, man. Juan Miguel Sobre Peña Salute to you, man. Salute to you. G5 Weez, always appreciate the support. Omar Shalaby, salute to you, Omar. Let's see what Omar's comment is here. Let's see. Omar says, I believe if we continue with the same defense performance until Preston and Mitch returns, we will win the second seed easily. Okay. All right, well, they got some work to do, man. But I think once these guys do get back, it's going to bode well for this team. No question, man. Clippy says, D. Harp had defense. The ex-players always complain how Harp could guide the offensive player by hand-checking. His hands are strong. Do we need to bring hand-checking back? Again, the number one complaint about the game today is too many threes, the style of play. Do we need to tilt the scales a little bit to the defense now and kind of just recalibrate a little bit? Sometimes you got to recalibrate, you know? Shout out to J. Cal. Shout out to Chuck D. Shout out to my guy Caleb Silver. Shout out to the Columbia men's basketball team, man. I'm just shouting out my friends randomly, man. Franchise channel members. Tyler, Gamba, TM, Alex, JD, CK, salute to everybody, man. We don't want to leave anybody out. Killer B says, I didn't give McBride props for last night. Absolutely you did. We definitely gave McBride props last night. You got to go back and watch post-game, man. Yeah, we definitely talked about McBride last night. Very happy about his return. He had a big second half last night. We talked about McBride last night. Yeah. Okay. All right. So there it is, man. So listen, man. You guys enjoy the night. Like, share, subscribe. Tap in with your guy, CP the Franchise. I'm out of here. Peace.